All right. So, Wildflower Thoughts 2023. This conversation, no, this is not a conversation, but it's open for conversation. But today's thoughts is about um, men parenting. And I would like to first start this video off with showing my appreciation to the men who are actively in their kids' lives, and they understand that this is not about themselves. This is solely about what's best for the children, and they are advocates and implementers of healthy parenting and healthy communication for the sake of the children. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for y'all presence. Us women cannot do it by ourselves. We need y'all because no one can do everything in this universe alone. And while a lot of people say that, their actions doesn't show that. It's just talk. I know there's many ifs, ands, and buts that could come with this topic. I'm very aware of that. But I don't want to focus on the negative things or the things that I feel like is a lot of excuses to prolong the unity of why mom and dad to a child is important. And if one parent has some work to do, be supportive in that work that they need to do. And sometimes it take one to know one. So all the tick for tack is usually a deferment of better results, and it's a good sign of immaturity and childishness. We all have areas in our lives that we're still working on and we may always be working on, but change is a lifestyle. It's not a choice you make today that lasts you a lifetime. You have to make this choice every second of the day and go for the resources that support and help you continue to stick to that change and understand that change for evolution to continue to evolve. So, what I would like to open the conversation to is how many single dads I am becoming more and more aware of that are taking care of their children by themselves without the mom being involved, and how those men clearly have a different understanding on what us moms experience when we're in those positions, which I think needs to be experienced before you can really speak about it. Growing up, I didn't really notice a lot of that dads taking care of their children. instead of the moms taking care of the children. But I'm seeing that more and more today, and it makes me happy, especially when guys are doing it with the right heart and not keeping the kids away from the mom. So I appreciate you men who are doing right by your children and the child's mom, removing your feelings for the child's mom and thinking about what's the next best thing besides your relationship failing is the children and their well-being and their balance, that they need a little bit of both of you guys to be balanced human beings. And one question that I always think about is, why is the man so bad after he doesn't want to be with you anymore? But he wasn't bad before he didn't want to be with you anymore. Whose accountability is that to take? Yes, we all change. But is it a possibility that lust blinded you before love could capture you? And that's if love was even in the cards. Because a lot of us women lead with our emotions, not with our logic. A lot of us, we date people's potential, not who they showing us they are at that present time. And that's where we get it messed up. Because nobody is obligated to change. Change is a personal choice. So we both need to take accountability for these failed families. But at the same time, you can't blame men for using the words that worked so many times before on you as well, because you was not you didn't know yourself well enough to know that you're just another woman involving yourself in the game. So, with that being said, I think that men need to be appreciated more. They need to be uplifted more. They need to be assured that us women are safe for them, because men have to deal with a lot to provide for us and our kids. And a lot of them don't talk about it. They suppress it a lot because us women don't give them a safe place to speak freely without us letting our emotions get the best of us, which causes men to not want to talk. And that's why they go talk to their homegirls or their homeboys or that woman who know how to be quiet and let them talk without them being interrupted. And label that woman whatever you want to label her. But if you know how good it feels to just say what you need to say and be heard and understood, why do you think that a man doesn't deserve that same listening ear and understanding with the person that he chooses to do his life with. You know, the most valuable lesson I learned with a man is learning how to be quiet and listen. I learned that listening is more effective than talking. And it's a time and place for it all. But men will talk if they feel safe to talk. But if they think talking to you is going to get to your homegirls or your homeboys, and they don't feel like that they can trust you, they're not going to talk to you. They'll just rather keep it to themselves or tell someone who they trust. A man being able to open up and feel vulnerable and talk to his woman creates a different type of connection that a lot of us women don't get to experience because we don't know how to check our emotions. It's called emotionally mature. And we think it's all about us. And it's not. It's about them too. I know that the universe has put many of you men in a position where you guys have to fear a lot of retaliation and discrimination and so much um, violence and disruption from all different sides of the coin. And I really can understand how that feels. And I see why you guys function the way you function sometimes, and why so many men latch on to so many unhealthy behaviors just to cope in this universe. And then on top of having to go out into the world and work and provide and not get fired and not hand over your respect and integrity for the sake of someone's ego, you have to come home to a bratty woman or a woman who fusses so much and nags so much that she doesn't understand that you just want a place to come home to that's peaceful, that's loving. You fight in the world. You don't want to fight when you come home. But men, that takes work from you and her, because a lot of women don't feel safe either. Because we also do a lot of fighting and trying to prove our worth and be heard, be appreciated, and loved. We need to learn how to create a safe place for each other to have hard conversations, uncomfortable conversations. But in order to have those places that's safe, there has to be healthy minded people first. And when I say healthy minded, I mean working on yourself. Because your significant other is not responsible for your behavior. Your significant other is not responsible for your happiness. Your significant other is not responsible for your past and how that affects your future. All of these things are self responsibilities for one to work on. And when moving on in the future, people can add to it or take away. And you have to determine whether to keep those people around or cut them loose. And I think men do deserve more than what they get. Because I never ever want to be a man. I can't say I like being a woman all the time, but I definitely don't want to be a man. Because that's not what I was made to be. But I also know that the way a man functions and his level of understanding dictates what he will receive from a woman, a healthy woman. And I wanted to talk about this because, yes, I talk about women having to bite the bullet so much when it comes to being a mother, because I experienced that more than I've experienced men biting the bullet to be a dad and giving the woman grace during her developmental stages of life, without having to worry about the kid's dad retaliating or making them feel bad, because they just need time for them, or they need a break to put themselves back together and to reset. But that definitely doesn't mean that I overlook you men, you wonderful men who stand up in a lot of these battles that the universe puts on you guys. I thank y'all, because the world wouldn't be here without you guys. We need each other. No amount of money or material things will replace a healthy mind. And if we had more healthy minded individuals, what do you think that would produce in this universe? Let's stop being distracted. And let's give each other their flowers while they're here and well. And this doesn't mean challenges is not going to always be there. Because without challenges, how do you know that you need to work on something? I think life is about balance, good and bad. It corrects your vision. It helps you see those little things that you wasn't in a place to see before, but you're in a place to see it now. And it's helping you get better and better. It's a time and place for everything. We need to see more men supporting their kids' moms in a healthy way, not in a dysfunctional way. Women, y'all want men to provide for you guys? Well, I think you got some work to do, because there's men out here that's willing to provide for their family and kids, for the woman to be the homemaker. But we need to understand that Men need a certain type of respect and integrity to feel like he can do that, and that he's not being used and abused by another ungrateful person who is entitled or arrogant and selfish. This is a team effort. How would you want someone to treat you if you provided for the family? I don't think that providing for family is that difficult for men. It's the woman that makes that more difficult. And men, this doesn't mean that you can let your ego go unchecked. Because a lot of men who do provide, their ego is in the way. Their pride is in the way. Your job is not to control a woman and dictate a woman. Your job is to love a woman and to respect the woman and to improve her security, not decline it. There's work that needs to be done on both sides. But I'm here to speak from a woman's perspective that there's a lot of great men out here. It's just the great men are not so easily accessible because they're taking care of business. They don't have time to waste. They don't have a lot of hours available to cupcake with you women who kill yourself all week just to spend everything you earned for the sake of distracting yourself from your insecurities and your poor mental health and your real issues that need to be paid attention to so that you can become peaceful within and whole within, so that you can add that to your provider. All men don't control women because they pay all the bills and because they don't make you work to earn a wage. All men are not like that. And a lot of women think that way because I think it's an excuse for them not to be vulnerable and trust. But again, that starts from inside of you. It's nobody's job but yours to work on your inside so that your outside reflects what the inside is. A lot of these choices stem from generational traumas that's not dealt with. And we are choosing to overlook those traumas and address those traumas so that those traumas do not continue to control our future. It's so many people out here that are prisoners within their own bodies because they don't want the challenge of change. They are so afraid of what they're going to gain for what they're going to have to give up. I think I said that backwards. Let me switch that around. They are so afraid of what they're going to lose instead of what they're going to gain when it comes to challenging yourself. Fear is a natural emotion. But who says fear is bad? It could be your perspective on fear. I think that's life. Your perspective.